Well, first of all, I just want to congratulate all the teams for the matches that were played last night. I don't know that I haven't looked any of the history books, but I gotta imagine hasn't happened very often. There's 2 5-setters in the semis, and it's just a huge compliment to the volleyball that's being played across the country right now. I thought our match was a very atypical semifinal match, but a very exciting one nonetheless. And then I thought the Hawaii Ball State match was great, you know, and obviously another 5-setter. So congratulations to all the athletes that were here, and the coaches did a great job. But we're excited to be playing tomorrow. Obviously, this is, you know, what you set out to do. You want to get to this game. You go through a lot throughout the season, and hopefully you're building lessons learned from the wins and the losses, all to be able to, we talked a lot about using this really tools in our toolbox to be able to use in the bigger moments, and we certainly had to dig deep into our toolbox last night, and the guys were great with that, and we expect nothing less than that tomorrow night against a really, really good team, one that we know well, and they know us well from our own conference, so we're just excited to get out there and get after it.
Question for Mason and Shane. Coach alluded to it earlier. You know Hawaii so much. You played them 4 times in the last one. With that being said, how much film and prep are you even doing right now just on them because you know them so well?
Yeah, I think we just go about it the same way that we usually do. Obviously, you have more of a feel for them live, in-game, playing against them 3 times now. Now we're going to be the 4th. But I just say going about it the same way that we always do. Good prep, and then just kind of refining the things that we've learned from them the past couple games.
Yeah, just go on with what Mason said. You're never going to be perfectly prepared for a team, right? So we're just always going to keep trying to get that 1 to 2% more prepared every single time. So we're not ever going to lean off of that.
And then, Coach, for you, people watch the matches online and on television. They see the passion, they see the intensity. But just taking a step back, obviously your competitors on board, but do you have a lot of respect for the job that Hawaii's doing and Coach Charlie Wade is doing?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have played some epic matches with UH for years. There's a tremendous amount of respect. Don't ever confuse the competitiveness with our team or their team without respecting each other's programs. I mean, the volleyball IQ and the level being played with these 2 teams over the last many years is exceptional.
Coach, I think I mentioned this to you a little earlier today. I believe this is only the 7th time that a father-son will be in the national final. I believe the last time was the Wiltons in '96. How special is that a moment for you and Aiden?
Yeah, I'm sure it will be really, really special when I have time to really think about kind of those type of things. I think there's no doubt he was my son, so it's always special, right, to be around your son. But I try really, really hard to go about our business as our team and to coach our team and have our Nick McRae does a great job with our setters, and he works directly with Aiden during matches, and to keep everything as much as we can. So it would be an absolute lie to say at some point when I have time to kind of think through it and reminisce about the season. It'll be special. It'll be unique because it's something I haven't been able to do. But I think both of us are focused right now on keeping all the attention on Aiden running the offense and me coaching the team, and us being the best we can possibly be tomorrow night.
And going back to last night's match, what was your thinking when you flipped Tori and for Holloway to start the 3rd set? And I think it just changed the complexion of the game. You also said that you sailed it for their middle.
Yeah, I wanted some matchups to be different with Shane. Is that me? Okay. Sounds like my phone. You can answer it. To flip the middle set, a lot of times it's just a matchup thing. To get Simon into the game, we've been using 4 middles all season long, sometimes because of what we needed and sometimes because of injury. But Simon is a significantly different middle than our middles. It creates all sorts of havoc with size and with his serve. And that's just, it was more of a feeling in the match that his serve was going to be way more important than anything else that we had from the other middles at that moment.
This is for coach and one or two of the players. When you think about, or what were your favorite rivalries growing up? And then when you compare the Beach-Hawaii rivalry, how does it compare to those that you remember?
You know, that's tough when you say growing up, because for a lot of athletes, their first rivalry isn't usually a volleyball rivalry. You know, it's probably a family traditional rivalry or a pro sports team. I would say my first one growing up with really understanding sports and being young enough would be in the late 70s, watching the Dodger-Yankees World Series of the late 70s, and then of course them beating the Yankees in '81. So, you know, as I got a little bit older, then watching the rivalry between the Lakers and the Celtics was an epic battle when Magic and Kareem were playing for the Lakers. So those were huge for me. When I got to college, I think I did a really good job of just really not picking anybody, trying to really, I don't know the right way to say it, be mentally and physically prepared to take out anything I could on any team I played, and not try to pick one or two matches on the schedule that were more important than others, because I learned from a young age that doing that usually led to some pitfalls along the way on teams maybe you weren't preparing for. So we talk all the time in our program about our most important opponent is our next one, not because it sounds very cliche-ish, it's because it's the only one that matters in that week. And if we can play like that, then we're respecting three keys, and the respect comes from the game of volleyball, of how we prepare to play the game, respecting our opponent, that we're going to prepare the same for each opponent and give them tremendous respect. And then most importantly to us is respecting our logo and how we go about our business and play on our side of the net. And then, so when it gets into rivalries and picking schools, I think that's more exciting for other people. I think though, what I would say on specifically to the Hawaii one, I think where you're going, is that from anybody watching from the outside, these two teams have played in very important matches in big stages for years, and it's always brings out great volleyball for both of the teams, and that's exactly what I prepare for and expect for tomorrow night.
You guys, you have any rivalry that you enjoy growing up? And just, you know, as a fan, you want to be a part of those rivalries, and now I guess maybe since Coach says you guys just think of the next one as your biggest rivalry, but now being in a real rivalry, whether you guys look at it that way but everyone else does, how does that feeling compare to what you felt as a fan?
I'm going to go along with what Coach Knipe said. As a player, you kind of look at rivalries a little bit differently, because every team you play, you're going to want to beat them. You're going to want to have that competitive edge. So I wouldn't say that one school sticks out more than the other. But growing up as a kid, I think it's funny that Coach Knipe mentioned the Lakers and Celtics with Kareem. I was Lakers and Celtics with Kobe and, you know, KG, all those guys.
Just an age thing.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. But for me, that was big time growing up watching those games.
Question for the panel. Coach, I know in the past you've always talked about getting 1% better every single day. So I'd love to take that question and broaden out to men's volleyball as a whole. What is something you think that could be done that would make men's volleyball's popularity and growth 1% better if you had the chance to change anything?
Televise it. Don't stream it, just televise it. The sad thing about last night's games is that the volleyball community at large missed the opportunity to see some of the most exciting semifinal games in a very unique way. Semifinal games of a long time. Promote it. Don't schedule the Women's Beach Championship, which is a brand new championship not too long ago, on top of the men's one. Show some respect to the men's championship and find a different weekend. Or promote it from the NCAA level, even on their social media feeds. You know, it's the greatest secret in NCAA sports, you know, is men's volleyball. It's an amazing competition that when people go and watch it live, they come back and watch more and more of it. And it's only getting better. The investment in the sports from the universities are getting better and better and better. I think UH has done a tremendous job with that over the years, with having especially since they moved into Stan Sheriff many years ago with the floor and television and everything that they do to promote the game on a large scale. They really set the bar really, really high for men's volleyball. I think that BYU's done a really good job in that regard as well. And I think that, you know, with our current administration right now, Long Beach has done a great job with that, of getting the pyramid packed, putting the $100,000 floor down, having TV. So I think what it comes down to is that invest in it. It's a wonderful sport, and just because, you know, other sports, say football or basketball, generate a lot of fan attention doesn't mean we don't, that the athletes and the teams that play men's volleyball don't deserve the same attention, especially in a market where it doesn't cost very much to do it these days. So it's not we're asking a whole bunch of investment from anybody outside the universities. What I would say to the other universities, especially the ones that are thinking about adding men's volleyball, the sport is blowing up at the junior level. Kids are playing, they need places to play. There's great coaching all the way across the country at all the levels of our sport right now. Athletic directors, if you're watching or you're watching the stream or you're going to watch tomorrow night, invest in this sport. I mean, you're only giving 4.5 scholarships to it anyway. It's not a big price tag. And you have the opportunity to have these incredible athletes who are great students, great ambassadors for your university, and future Olympians.
And then for Mason or Shane, is there anything you want to add to that?
Like what Coach mentioned about just investing in it, little thought on the NCAA level. It was actually last year that I had this thought in my mind of, there used to be NCAA volleyball Instagram account, and now I believe it's just NCAA women's volleyball, and I haven't seen a men's account officially, might be wrong, and it kind of just took a little bit away from the videos you might see of like last night or even last year's final, especially without fans being there, of giving that inside look to like what's going on. I think that could be pretty huge, and a little bit of change there would be great.
A question I had for the players is, what do you feel like makes Hawaii most dangerous? And you know, it's only been a couple games since you guys last played them, but what do you guys, you know, what most scares you about playing Hawaii?
I mean, you're never really scared going into a match against a team. I think there are certain aspects of teams that make them special whenever you play a different team. And for Hawaii, they always play hard, and they're going to bring 100% no matter who they have on the floor, and we really respect them for that.
Yeah, I agree. They're just solid all around. They have some great pieces and guys all on the court that can pick them up and keep them going throughout the match. So like Shane said, it's just for us how we can handle our end of it and focus on us from the beginning of the match to the end.
We're going to go to Cindy, and then you, and then we'll go to the Zoom.
For the players, you folks have a good fan base. You saw that last night. Hawaii's got a pretty good fan base here. Neutral side, what do you think?
I'd like to thank LB Nation and everyone that came out last night. Hoping they come out again. I know they will. Neutral site, Hawaii brings some good fans wherever they're playing. Luckily, Long Beach is just down the road, so hoping a lot of people show up and continue the support we have from the school, our president, athletic director, all around, and we'll show up.
Yeah, LB Nation, best fans in the world by far. They're going to come out in force no matter where we are. Even when we're in Hawaii, we had a large section of them, so we got nothing but gratefulness towards them.
So my question was that too, but I know after the Big West Championship, Coach, you were excited about the opportunity to play on a neutral site game. So now that it's here, is that same level of excitement there?
Well, I think it's twofold. One, you need to get to that match, especially with us and Hawaii being on opposite sides of the bracket. We had to take care of business, which proved to be a lot more difficult than maybe people thought it would have been. Not necessarily me. I knew the matches were going to be really, really close. But yeah, I think that, you know, a championship on the neutral side would be great. I think that, as the players mentioned, you know, Hawaii travels very, very well. There'll be a great crowd, and Long Beach travels well, and we were right down the freeway. And I think that, you know, I think I've mentioned this before, maybe even when we were over in the conference tournament, no young student athlete, lays in his room at night dreaming of playing college sports and thinking of playing in a high school gym-sized arena with 50 people watching them. What they think of playing is in big matches with big crowds, with a lot on the line, and energy and the building, and fans enjoying the moment, and they'll carry it with them their whole life. That's what the championships are about. That's what it should feel like. Both of these teams deserve that type of environment tomorrow night.
Okay, we have one question on Zoom.
From Mike from the Bible School.
Hey, questions for Shane. Shane, a whole lot of things have happened in the world since the last time you were playing in a national championship match. Can you just kind of reflect on that? I mean, there's so much youth in the teams that have been playing at the Final Four, and you're one of those guys that's actually gotten to see just exactly how crazy this stretch has been. Can you reflect on that journey for you, and then also, I guess, kind of for the program, what those last 3 years have been like?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very hectic last 3 years for everybody, not just student athletes, but I think the big difference maker for us as student athletes at Long Beach was our athletic department. They went above and beyond in getting us back to where we are today. Andy Fee, our athletic director, was big time in pushing for us to get to where we are right now. And Mark Edrington, there's so many people that we don't even know their names that have been working just day and night to get us back to where we are. So for me especially, I mean, seeing where we were back then and where we are now, it's just totally grateful for all the work that has gone into it behind the scenes, and we're just glad to be back.